their head.
Here's the view we have this morning as we're leaving. Not a cloud in the sky. There's a beautiful old house. It's nice to see color for a change.
So I can see all the way down towards Rijeka, towards the islands that we could barely see yesterday in all that train, especially yesterday morning. 2 hours to get to days amongst us, so that's just for...
We are leaving Croatia and entering Slovenia for a few miles, and eventually we'll be in Italy.
This is their little seaport area.
This
one
was
of the
a nice
countries,
big
one of the
wide
republics
road.
of
Now
Yugoslavia, as
we're
we've learned.
Slovenia,
Slovenia,
country
like
road.
Croatia, both countries burst on the maps of Europe as independent countries only in the 1990s. Just a quick reminder, both countries, they've proclaimed their independence. It was in June the 25th, 1991. And, well, from that moment onwards, we can say that both countries started a new chapter in their history as part of the Alps, the Julian Alps, so called because they were conquered by tourism. All those seaside resorts, they were, well, popular, because they're popular a lot with Austrians, with Italians. Used to form only 8% of the population of Yugoslavia, which had around 25 million inhabitants, but almost 1/3 of all the goods exported from Slovenia were exported from here, from Slovenia. So when Slovenia decided to, start a new chapter in its life as an independent country, they quickly redirected their trade flows towards the European Union, to compensate the loss of the markets which they've lost on the territory of Yugoslavia. They've done really, really well. And of course, one of the reasons for that is that the country is very well organized. Here in Slovenia is very Germanic, so they're very, very well organized. And this is the reason why, of course, in that transition period, they were more successful if they were to be compared with, for example, Croatia. A little bit of a no man's land. If you look to your right-hand side, it says Italia. So once upon a time, this was the place where we would leave, well, originally Yugoslavia. Then when Yugoslavia split up in the 1990s, this was a place where we would leave Slovenia to enter Italy. But you see how convenient it is being part of the Schengen agreement. No delays, not stopping any longer at the border, so it's just driven from one country to another as if we were traveling from one region to another of one big country. So this is divided into a developed north, we can say, and into an agricultural and state-assisted south. Lines of how to be a good and respectful mafioso. I couldn't help it, actually. I wrote it down in my big book, because some of these rules that mafiosi have to follow, some of them I wasn't aware of them at all. For example, the most important rule is the omerta rule. Omerta, what they call the code of silence, of course. Then they found the second rule, which is the ethnicity rule, which means that only men of Italian descent, men of Sicilian descent, I should correct myself, they are allowed to become full members of the mafia. And then they have the family secrets rule, which means that members of the mafia, they are not allowed to talk about families' businesses at university, by the way, to your right hand side, the head office of the university, and University of Trieste, and they're not allowed to talk about family businesses to other people that are not members of the mafia. Then they have the blood for blood rule, which means if somebody commits murder, no one is allowed to commit murder in revenge until the boss gives his permission. Then you have the tribute rule, so if a member of the mafia manages to strike a deal, let's say, he has to give a cut, of course, to the boss.
Heart of Trieste, the heart of Trieste, and actually this was the place when the Austrians ruled. It was the center of the power, it was the center of, well, political and financial, we can say center as well, because most of these buildings that we have around us, they were developed when the Austrians ruled Trieste, and actually they stayed here for quite some time, 500 years. So there is no surprise really to find all these neoclassical buildings around, which in a way the Austrians tried to revive during their rule. As I said, political and financial center, because, for example, if we actually take a look to that building over there, still on the facade at the very top, you can read Lloyd Triestino. Lloyd Triestino was one of the first insurance companies.
Yeah,
that was
Lloyd's in
established
London.
In Trieste in the 1830s, and it kind of makes sense. Trieste was the center of shipbuilding, of shipping. So the insurance companies, they had a really sort of good place where to develop. So it was established the company in the 1830s, more or less the same year we started building the palace. The palace of the building, on the corners of the palace, we've got two fountains, which nowadays don't work. But the idea was to have in that corner the fountain of Typhus. Typhus appeared side. This lovely, richly decorated facade used to be the governor's house. So the person, political figure, which was an extended hand of the Austrian rulers, stayed here. Of course, the main square. This is where one could catch up on the latest gossip, the easiest. And as well, the building, which is lovely decorated, this loggia and this nice little side on the facade, dates back to the beginning. Building, which is the town hall. They call it Il Sipario, Palazzo Sipario. Sipario is Italian word for theater curtain, because it was built to complete this nice square and to hide the slums which were right behind it. So, in the shape, they call it the fountain of the four continents. It was actually built in the 18th century, in the early 1700s, early 18th century, and they call it the fountain of the four continents because Australia wasn't discovered yet. And Charles VI. Charles VI was the father of the Austrian Empress Maria Theresa. In 1725, he came to Trieste. That's why they put that color with his image. And he was quite important for Trieste because he was the one that proclaimed Trieste as a free city, free trading port.
A little fountain with Poseidon. Got his trident. And the obligatory merry-go-round. And even though it's a Tuesday, preschoolers can ride the merry-go-round.
The borsa in Italian means, means a bag, a purse, but borsa means as well the stock exchange. So this is where the Austrians get their stock exchange. So people are trading.
James Joyce has been here too.
Yeah, it was really. It wasn't so nasty when he sat there.
They call this the Grand Canal of Trieste. A sad second to the one we're going to see later.
So the Grand Canal of Trieste. So this is actually this canal which was dug in the 18th century so that of course local fishermen could get as close as possible to what once upon a time was the main market.
In front of the Grand Canal, I found a little farmer's market. A Greek Orthodox church, I'm sure. A fountain, and more farmer's market, and another church. I guess this other beautiful Art Deco building. Tons of detail. And we got a couple of statues up on top. Some enterprising musicians. There they are. Bronze model of Trieste, and we're down here in the civic center, and over here on the side is a big mountain, and this was put here by Rotary, and it's got Braille writing on it, which is quite nice.